Hello everyone, my name is Kenny Carfagno, and today I am going to give my personal review and unbox the Google Nest Wi-Fi mesh network. Let's get started. This is our new router that we just got. This is the Google Nest Wi-Fi, and I am going to open it up and just show you guys my personal opinion on it. It's a very nice look to the package overall. Very clean. The two little marshmallows on front. There we go. I can definitely say these are a lot larger than I expected they would be. Very clean look overall though. Alright, in the box there is this is the router itself. This is an access point, which is a wireless extender. Here's the inside of the box. We've got this Let's Get Started guide. And we have all of the wires in here. This is the power adapters. That's convenient. We got an Ethernet cable. Yeah, that's it. Nothing else in there. It's empty. So yeah, let's get started, guys. Alright, let's get started. Router setup. This looks quite simple. Now what you do, plug in router, get the home app, and set up devices. It looks pretty simple. Keeping privacy. Turn off the microphones, and just that. So overall, I think this is a really good buy at $270. Alright, now for the pros and cons. Let's start with the pros. So as you can see in this animation here on the website, it looks like it's bathing the entire house in Wi-Fi. Now my house has plaster walls, and we put our access point about 100 to 150 feet away from the router in an entirely different room, with walls in between, and it still works great even though we have plaster walls. The connection is amazing. One of the other things I really liked about this system is the application. It is great. You can control everything from there, from the devices, and you can share Wi-Fi. You can run a speed test and test out the mesh from just about any Wi-Fi network. Like I can go like 30 miles that way on a different Wi-Fi network, and I can still test our Wi-Fi at home, which is incredible. Something else that was a really nice add-on that Google added to their Wi-Fi is the voice assistant. I think it's a nice add-on. It isn't needed. Thankfully, there is a microphone turn-off so that you don't have Google listening to everything you say and spying on you, which is sort of creepy. But I think overall it's nice to have as long as you're good with voice assistants. And right along with the voice assistant, you can cast your music and your audio and your podcast, all of that to the Wi-Fi point, which is super awesome. Instead of having to hook up a Bluetooth speaker every time I wanted to listen to loud music, I can just cast it to this device. Now I can't move it anywhere, but that's because it also serves as Wi-Fi, which is also great. But just the being able to cast is awesome. And like I said earlier, you can run speed tests and test the mesh all through the app, which is still just great. We have 300 megabit per second internet, and we were getting like 310, 305 through the online test, and it's been incredibly accurate and great. It tests the mesh connection. And now for the cons, the parts that I do not like about this specific Wi-Fi setup. I found that the setup was way too hard to understand, especially for the average user. I was so confused with the setup. I downloaded an app. I had to do that on my data, and I wasn't happy about that. Oh man, they need to get the instructions better. In my opinion, they need to have some sort of online setup, fix the instruction booklet. But for now, at least, you could go on any how-to website and they tell you how to do the whole thing. But I think Google needs to get on top of that because the setup instructions they're not great. On the router Marshmallow, the blinking light and the solid light. It's just one light. I think they need to place more lights on it personally to help understand if there were issues with it. When I first plugged it into mine, it was blinking white, and I didn't know what that means. I thought it meant for setup, but the WAN wasn't working, so it was really confusing. So I think personally that they need to add maybe a couple other lights that stand for certain things to make troubleshooting a little bit more easier on our side. And probably my biggest complaint is there's not many output and input ports. There's only 1 gigabit Ethernet output. There's only 1 WAN port, but that's standard. There's no USB. There's none of that. I know the mesh is good, but if they had like Ethernet coming from the mesh or a couple more Ethernet ports coming from the router itself, it would be much, much better of a product. And for some people who have a slightly tighter budget, the price tag on this thing is pretty expensive, as low as $169 on their website, which is decent, but that's only for the single router. And if you want to get 2 access points, you gotta spend $350. Versus if you just get a single router, it's only gonna cost you at the most, for like the best in the market, $150. So that's probably a pretty big downside, but it's also expected with most mesh systems. And I give my full review on what I think of mesh networks versus router Wi-Fi. I'll put that in that link. But overall, it's a pretty good Wi-Fi setup. If you have a larger house and a larger budget, it's definitely something you can upgrade to help your Wi-Fi speeds be better. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like and subscribe, as it will help out my channel. And I will see you next video.